Morning, my dear students. I hope you all are fine and safe at home. So, here I am with my lecture number 11 of Elementary Economics, class 9th. Students, in this video, we shall be discussing about chapter number 3, that is, an economy, its sectors, basic concepts, and entities. Just in my previous video, I have discussed with you the meaning of goods and the various types of goods. Those who haven't seen this video yet, kindly first see that. So in this video, we shall be covering the leftover topics. This chapter is quite a big chapter, so try to understand the each and every concept of this chapter. So let's proceed to our topic number 1, that is meaning of services. Now already students, we have discussed about goods. We have also just also I have told you that the human wants can be fulfilled by either goods or services. So already we have discussed the goods part. Now we are going to discuss about services. Now what are services? So by a service we mean an item which is not physically tangible. The word tangible means which can be seen or touched. So services are not at all tangible, but they satisfy the human wants. So services are those things which are not tangible, which cannot be seen or touched, but they satisfy the human wants. Like the services performed by doctors. Doctors' services cannot be seen and touched, means they are not tangible, but they satisfy the human want, they satisfy the human needs. Teachers, the services of teachers cannot be touched, means they are not the tangible commodity, they are not like the goods, but the services of a teacher satisfy the human wants. Lawyers services cannot be seen and touched, means that they are not physically tangible, but they satisfy the human wants. So all those services, all those things which are not tangible in nature, which cannot be seen and touched, but satisfies the human wants, but satisfy the human needs, can be termed as services. So I hope so the meaning is very much clear to you. Just anything that is not physically tangible but is capable of satisfying the human wants can be termed as services. So let's proceed to our next topic, that is features of services. Now what are the features? So the first feature is support to agricultural and industrial activities. Now with the expansion of the this agricultural and the industrial sector, more number of people are required. With the development of more number of technology, with the development of technology, the industrial and the agricultural sector has increased. So who will work in those increased industries and in those increased agriculture area? Of course the people, and the people provide the services. So that is the most essential feature of the services, that it provides support to the agricultural and the industrial activities. Expansion of the agricultural and industrial sectors largely depends on the services provided by banking, insurance, etc. So first and the most important feature, that it provides supports to agriculture sector also and industrial activities also. Now the second one is intangible good. Now just now I have told you that services are the not physically present, means that they're intangible, they cannot be seen and touched. So creation of services does not mean the creation of any tangible item. Like example, one cannot touch the knowledge of a teacher, means we cannot touch the services of a teacher. We can only provide, we can feel that knowledge, we can only have that knowledge, we can only preoccupy that knowledge. So hence it does not mean that any tangible commodity is created. This intangible goods are created in the services. So second feature is intangible goods, means the goods which cannot be seen and touched. In services cannot be seen and touched. So I hope so you these two features are very much clear to you. It's not very tough, students. So let's proceed to a third feature, that is its great utility. Now to understand this feature, you must know the meaning of utility. Utility means want satisfying power of a commodity. Suppose you want something, you want a bicycle. You want a bicycle. Now that bicycle should have the capacity to satisfy your want. To satisfy your want. So a commodity should have the capacity to satisfy your want, and if that commodity satisfy your want, so that will become the utility. That will become your utility. So suppose if you have purchased a bicycle and that bicycle is somewhat defective and is not able to use, and you are not able to use it properly, so your utility is not satisfied, your wants are not satisfied. And suppose you have purchased a good bicycle and that is working properly also, so that means your utility is satisfied. So utility means want satisfying power of a commodity. Now utility may be created by performing the services. So here services create utility because we want the services, and after attaining the services our utility, our wants are satisfied. Suppose for example, the your any family member is sick and you want the services of a doctor. So when you get the services of a doctor, your utility for the services of doctor are fully satisfied. Similarly in case of teachers also, and in case of lawyers also. So when the services are being provided, it creates utility, means you are satisfied totally when such services are provided to you. So I hope so all the three features are very much clear to you. First, we have discussed about its provide support to agricultural and industrial sector. Second, it creates intangible goods. And third one is that it creates utility, means want satisfying power of a commodity. So let's proceed to our next topic, that is wealth definition. Now what is wealth? In simple terms we can say that stock of goods, whatever ownership we have, that is called as our wealth. Stock of goods under the ownership of a person can be termed as a wealth. Whatever we own, whatever the property we own, that is known as our wealth. Wealth can be of a person also, or it can be of nation also, which will be discussed later on. But first try to understand the meaning of wealth. Wealth means the property, the ownership which we have, which an individual owns, that is known as wealth. So whatever property, whatever cash we have, whatever ownership we have, that will come under the heading of wealth. How much a person is rich can be termed as wealth. So I hope so the meaning is very much clear to you. It's easy. Stock of goods, whatever goods we have under the ownership of one person or a nation, that can be termed as wealth. Now there are two types of wealth we have discussed. First is personal wealth and second is national wealth. So let us know what are these two types of wealth. That is, first is personal wealth. In simple terms we can say personal wealth means the stock of all the transferable goods which are owned by any person. Personal wealth just contributes to any one individual. All the stock of goods which are held by only an individual is known as personal wealth. For example, houses are the property, so that will come in the personal wealth. Buildings, furniture, cash, money kept in banks etc., owned by a person. So whatever property, whatever belongings, whatever ownership an individual owns, that will come under personal wealth. So I hope so the meaning is very much clear to you. Now what is national wealth? All the property, all the belongings and all the ownership which a nation owns, which a country owns, that will come under national wealth. So roads are also the wealth, but that is not the wealth of a just one individual. It is the wealth of the entire country. The whole population can use it, so that will come under national wealth. Parks, bridges, hospitals, so these are not the wealth of just any one individual. It is the wealth of the entire nation, because entire public, the whole country can use such type of services, and hence it will come under national wealth. And this is also one equation giving, that is what is the what will come in national wealth: personal wealth plus business wealth plus social wealth. So whatever wealth a person owns, whatever wealth a businessman owns, and whatever wealth a society owns will be totaled, and that will be known as national wealth. So national wealth is very wide in term, and it includes all types of wealth, like personal wealth also, business wealth also, and social wealth also. So I hope so the meaning of wealth, first of all, wealth is clear to you. Wealth means the stock of goods which a person owns. We have discussed the two types of wealth also, personal wealth and national wealth. Now personal we have discussed, which is owned by only one individual. You can learn just any two examples out of many examples given here. And national wealth, which are owned by a country, like roads, parks, bridges, hospitals. And also learn this equation given in the red and bold letters, that is national wealth can be counted by just adding personal wealth, business wealth, and social wealth. So I hope so this meaning is very much clear to you. Now let's proceed to our next topic, that is welfare. Now we have discussed just now the meaning of wealth definition. Now we are going to discuss about welfare definition. Now what is the meaning of welfare? In simple terms, we can say the satisfaction of the wants. Welfare means the satisfaction or the well-being enjoyed by society. When our wants is satisfied, that can be termed as welfare. Just our welfare is done. So the by welfare of the society, we mean that satisfaction of our wants. For example, health facilities provided, medical facilities, then educational facilities. So all these facilities which are when provided, just our welfare is improved, our satisfaction is improved, just our satisfaction of wants are done. So welfare, just keep in mind the difference between wealth and welfare. Wealth means whatever we own, whatever property we own, while welfare means our satisfaction of wants. When our wants are satisfied, so that means our welfare is done. So I hope so the meaning of welfare is done. Now we are going to discuss about what is the meaning of economic welfare. Now economic welfare means satisfaction that an individual or several individuals derived from the consumption of various economic goods and services. Now, economic welfare, in simple terms, if I explain you the meaning of economic welfare, means the satisfaction which is obtained by an individual satisfaction. In this definition, you can count, there are three key points. First key point is satisfaction. We obtain satisfaction because the meaning of welfare itself says that satisfaction must be there. So, we refers to the satisfaction that an individual or the several individuals, an individual also can get this such type of welfare, and group of individuals can also get, derive from the consumption of various economic goods and services. Consumption of economic goods and services, so there are three key points in this definition. So economic welfare means the satisfaction which an individual or the group of individuals obtain from the consumption of various economic goods. Now what is the meaning of economic here? The goods and services for which you have to pay the price, that will be known as economic goods and services. The services which you are getting free of cost will not be called as economic, it will be called as non-economic. Free services can be roads, park, hospitals, which we have discussed in our previous slide. And so economic goods, economic welfare means satisfaction which is derived by the just individuals or the group of individuals, you can say, or the group of individuals, when the from the consumption of economic goods and services, from the consumption of economic goods and services. So you can learn this by making this flow chart, so that you could easily remember the definition of economic welfare. Economic goods and services means satisfaction is obtained by that an individuals or the group of individual gets by purchasing economic goods and services. So I hope so the meaning is very much clear to you. Now this is our last topic, the types of economic welfare. There are two types of economic welfare. First is individual economic welfare. This it refers to the utility or satisfaction that an individual, the main focus point is an individual, one individual gets from the consumption of economic goods and services. So individual economic welfare can be defined as a satisfaction derived by the derived by one individual when he consumes various economic goods and services. So name itself suggests that in this type of satisfaction, in this type of welfare, only one individual is benefited. So next is our social welfare. Just it refers to the aggregate means total the total utility derived by all the individuals. So the key point is here, all the individuals means the group of individuals in a society from the consumption of economic goods and services. So here example can be your if you want to purchase something like furniture, table, books, stationery, so an individual is being benefited. While in social welfare, if the health facilities are provided, medical facilities are provided, roads, parks, so all the people in total are benefited from this type of welfare. So that will come under social welfare, means all the individuals get the benefit, gets the satisfaction of that commodity, just of that economic goods and services. So I hope so the types of economic welfare are very much clear to you. So that is the end. Just thank you for watching. Keep on revising, students, and do like and subscribe my channel, and have a nice day.